Hello all and welcome back to my channel. My name is Pandey, and in this module I will be covering end-to-end management of Windows Update Ring through Microsoft Intune. In previous module we talked about patch management and its basic concepts, where we discussed about what is update and Windows as a service, servicing channels and servicing tools, types of updates and Windows Update for business. In this module, I will be covering what is Windows Update for Ring and its prerequisites, how to set up Windows Update Ring and deployments, how to configure telemetry data, what is Update Ring backend process flow, Update Ring options, and then we will discuss about Update Ring basic troubleshooting, and then we will configure the settings in lab for testing purpose. So when we are creating update rings in Intune and deploying on the devices, we are actually deploying the monthly quality updates. So before moving further, let's quickly see some of the important points related to quality update which we are going to deploy using Intune Update Ring method. So Windows quality updates help us to stay productive and protected. Quality updates are cumulative. They include all previously released fixes to guard against fragmentation of operating system. Quality update contains cumulative updates, .NET cumulative updates, and service stack updates and update stack packages. Quality updates commonly referred to as Patch Tuesday or Update Tuesday. These updates are released on the second Tuesday of each month and are known as B releases, where B refers to the second week in the month. Quality updates are typically published at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Because quality updates are cumulative, quality update releases include both new and previously released security fix along with non-security content introduced in the prior month preview C releases. These updates helps keep Windows device secure and compliant by deploying stability fixes and addressing security vulnerabilities. Quality update releases are mandatory for all the devices, and the channel for availability of quality update releases include Windows Update, Windows Server Update Services, also known as WSUS, and Microsoft Update Catalog. When starting the implementation of Windows Update Ring policy, we need to ensure that all of the prerequisites must be met. When we talk about device related prerequisites, then device must be running on Windows 10 version 16.07 or later or Windows 11. Devices have telemetry turned on with a minimum setting of required. We can configure telemetry as part of device restriction policies for Windows 10 or later. To configure telemetry via Intune, we have to create and deploy the device restriction policies, and under reporting and telemetry, configure the share users data with minimum value of required. We can also configure enhance an optional value, but for that device version must be 1903 or earlier. Update rings are supporting specific additions like device should be on Windows 10 or 11 Pro, Windows 10 or 11 Enterprise, Windows 10 or 11 Teams for Service Hub devices. Device should be Windows Holographic for Business, and for Windows Holographic for Business supports a specific set of Windows updates, including automatic update behavior, Microsoft product updates, servicing channel, any update build that is generally available. Windows 10 and 11 Enterprise LTSC supported, but some of the ring controls are not supported for LTSC, like pause off feature updates, feature update deferral periods, set feature update uninstallation period, enable pre-release builds, which includes Windows Insider Release Preview, Beta Channel, Development Channel, and use deadline settings for feature updates. Now we know that diagnostic data is required for Windows Update Ring. Let's first see what is diagnostic data and what all information diagnostic data is gathering. So required diagnostic data gathers a set of data that is critical for understanding the device and its configuration. This data helps to identify problem that can occur on a specific hardware or a software configuration. For an example, it can help determining if crashes are more frequent on devices with a specific amount of memory or that are running on a specific driver version. Required diagnostic data provides basic device data, quality metrics data, quality related data, compatibility data, system data, driver data, and Microsoft Store performance data. Basic device data help in understanding about the types of Windows devices, its configuration, and types of native and virtualized Windows server in the ecosystem. For an example, it includes device attributes such as camera resolution and display type, battery attributes such as the capacity and type, networking attributes such as the number of network adapters, speed of network adapters, mobile operator networks, and processors, and memory attributes such as number of core, architecture, speed, memory size, and firmware. Virtualization attributes such as second level addresses, translation, supports, and guest operating system. It also includes operating system attributes such as Windows Edition, virtualization status, storage attributes such as number of drives and type and size. Quality metrics help in understanding about how the connected user experience and diagnostic data component is functioning, including percentage of uploaded events, dropped events, blocked events, and the last uploaded time. Quality related information helps Microsoft develop a basic understanding of how a device and its operating systems are performing. Some examples are the device characteristic of a connected standby device, the number of crashes or hangs, and app status change details such as how much processor time and memory were used and the total uptime for an application. Compatibility data help in providing an understanding about which apps are installed on a device or virtual machine and identifies potential compatibility problems. System data provides an understanding about whether a device meets the minimum requirement to upgrade to the next version of operating system. System information includes the amount of memory as well as information about the processor and BIOS. List of accessories devices data such as printer or external storage device that are connected to Windows device and whether these devices will function after upgrading to new version of operating system. Driver data includes specific driver activities that is meant to help figure out whether app and devices will function after upgrading to a newer version of operating system. This can help to determine blocking issues and then help Microsoft and other partners applying fixes and improvements. Information about the Microsoft Store performance, including app downloads, installation, and updates. It also included Microsoft Store launches, page views, suspended and resume, and obtain licenses. Now let's see how we can enable a telemetry data or device diagnostic data. So to enable a device diagnostic data, we have to create a configuration profile called device restriction, and when we are going to create a device restriction profile, we have to ensure that a shared users data under reporting and telemetry is set to required. We have other option also called enhance and optional, but for using enhance option, device must be on 1903 or earlier version. Once the telemetry data is created and deployed on the devices, we can see the same thing diagnostic and feedback section where we can see that the required button is on, and the same thing we can verify under registry also, where under HKLM software policies, Microsoft Windows and the data collection, we can see that allow telemetry data is on and the value set to 1, which means it is set for required. Now let's see the settings available in Windows Update Ring. The very first setting is the Microsoft Product Update. So if we want to install the Microsoft Product Update along with Quality Update, we can enable these settings, else we can block these settings. So if we allow this setting, then machine is going to scan all the Microsoft product updates like MSI versions of Office and Visual Studio. And if the updates are applicable for those devices, machine is going to download and install those updates along with the quality updates. Next setting is the Windows driver update. If we want to install the Windows driver, we can allow this option, else we can block this option. Now the next setting is the quality update deferral periods in days as well as the feature update deferral period in days. So deferral period meaning that during this period device cannot see for any new updates. So this is very useful when you want to create a ring structure for multiple reasons, like one for internal testing, another for your UAT, and next for your production. So in this case you can create a Windows update ring structure, and you can set the policy quality update and feature update deferral policy as per a requirement. Now the next option is the upgrade Windows 10 device to latest version of Windows 11. So if you want to upgrade your Windows 10 devices to Windows 11 operating system, we can allow this setting, else we can block this setting. Next option is the set feature update uninstallation period. If you want to allow users to roll back to the previous version because of any reasons, you can specify the X number of days, and within that period of time user can roll back to the previous version. The next option is the enable pre-release update. So by design, when we are creating a Windows Update Ring, we are going to deploy the general availability channel updates. But if you want to deploy other channel updates like Windows Insider Preview updates, then you can enable this option, and you can select whatever channel of update channel you want to deploy. For example, you want to deploy a beta channel or your development channel. Now the next setting is the automatic update behavior setting. If you want to install the updates or scan the updates outside the maintenance window, you can select these options. Now the next settings are related to active hours time. Here we have to put the active hour start time or the active hour end time. This is basically the production hour times during which the user is productive, and this helps admin to create a policy to reboot the devices outside the active hours or non-productive hours. Now the next setting is the restart check. If we want to check some of the points before restarting the device, we can use these settings like battery percentage, user is in presentation mode or not, or user is itself present or not. The next option is to allow user to pause and update Windows update. If you enable this option, then user can pause the update for installation. Next option is to check the Windows update. If you want, user can also initiate a check for update, then you can enable this option, and when we are enabling this option, user can use the Windows Update console and initiate a check for update for recent update. Now this is more or less related to the notification when machine is going to download any update or install any update and rebooting the device. Whatever notification you want to show to the user, you can set here. These options are related to deadline time, meaning that you want to install all these updates within the deadline time. So you can set the deadline time. If you are going to configure the deadline time, you have to provide the deadline time for feature upgrade as well as the quality update. Now the next option is the grace period, meaning that deadline time is already passed and we want to install the update and automatic reboot regardless of the active hours. The user will get a notification saying that your device is going to reboot in next days or 3 days. Please reboot your device, and you can set the days also here. User can reboot the device immediately, or they can reissue the device for tonight, or even they can pick a specific time for rebooting. Now let's see what is the end user experience when we are going to deploy the Windows Update Ring to the device. Now let's say Windows Update Ring is already configured, and as per setting we have configured the deferral period of 9 days, meaning that in between 9 days machine is not going to scan for any new updates. Okay, once the deferral period is expired, then machine is going to scan for new update availability from Microsoft Update. Now machine is getting some updates, required update for the device, and machine is going to download that update, install the update outside the active hours. Once the update is installed, user will get a notification saying that your device restart is required on your device to install the update properly, and then user can either restart now or select the restart now option, or they can pick a new time for restart, or they can select another time for reboot configuration. Okay, now if user is selecting a pick a new time, then they will get a window where they can configure the reboot setting, and based on that user will get another notification before deadline time that your machine is going to restart. Okay, if they want to reschedule it, they can schedule it, or they can reboot the device immediately. Now let's take one more example to understand the end user experience in better way. So consider a scenario: we have already deployed the update ring on the devices, and one of the devices not online during the entire deferral period or deadline period, and the device is on just before grace period starts. Okay, so at that point of time machine is not having the patch installed, so immediately machine is going to scan the patch against Microsoft update, and whatever updates are applicable for the machine is going to download those update, install those update, and user will get a reboot notification. For some reason user ignores restart required, or device is unable to reboot outside the active hours. Now machine is moving from deadline phase to grace period phase. Okay, and we have configured a grace period of 2 days, meaning that if user is not rebooting within the grace period, then machine is going to forcefully reboot. Now because machine is in grace period and machine needs a reboot on the first day of grace period, user will get a notification saying that your organization required your device to restart in 1 day. User can pick another date, or user can select a remind me later, or user can reboot it. Consider a scenario user did not select anything, then on the next day again user will get a notification, but at this time because grace period is already over, user will not get any option to select anything. They will get a information that your device is going to update and your device is going to reboot. They need to confirm it, because this is an informative message, or they can restart the device. Now let's see what is the backend process of Windows quality update. So as an Intune administrator, we are going to create a update ring policy in Intune console, and then we are going to assign the Windows update ring policy to the required devices. Once the deployment is created, Windows update policies is delivered to the device via MDM channel. Now the MDM policy or the CSP is going to configure the Windows Update client policy and the user experience via registry changes. So we know that whenever we are deploying any configuration profiles, then in backend the CSP is going to configure the registry changes, and system is going to work as per the registry settings. Now once the registry is configured properly, the Intune job is over. In case of Windows quality update, Intune job is just to configure the Windows Update client registries as per our requirement. Now after that, Windows inbuilt UUP, which is also known as Unified Update Platform, is now performing the Windows update process for further installation. So during this process, Windows Update Orchestrator start scanning and find the required update for the system. For that, the update client is going to scan against the Microsoft update, and based on the required update, the Windows Update Orchestrator is going to download those update, and during this downloading they will follow the delivery optimization if we already configured that. Then Windows Update Orchestrator is going to install those update, and Windows Update Orchestrator is going to commit the update, and once the update is installed, machine is going for a reboot, and then once the machine is up, Intune management extension service will update the client status back to the Intune. Now let's see what all options we have in the Windows Update Ring. So we can perform multiple actions from the Intune to manage the update ring, like we can delete the deployment, we can pause the deployment, we can extend the deployment, resume the deployment, and we can uninstall the patches also. So admin can use delete option to stop enforcing the setting of the selected Windows Update ring. Deleting a ring removes its configuration from Intune so that Intune no longer applies and enforces those settings. Deleting a ring from the Intune does not modify the setting on the devices that were assigned the update ring. Instead, the device keeps its current setting. Device does not maintain a historical record of what setting they held previously, and device can also receive the setting from other update ring that remains active. With respect to pause option, admin can pause to prevent assigned devices from receiving feature and quality update for up to 35 days from the time admin paused the ring. After the maximum day have passed, pause functionality automatically expires and the device scan Windows Update for applicable updates. If we resume a pause update ring and then pause the ring again, the pause period reset to 35 days. When an update ring is paused, admin can select resume to restore feature or quality updates for that ring to active operation. After you resume an update ring, you can pause the ring again. While an update ring is paused, admin can select extend to reset the pause period for both feature and quality update for that update ring to 35 days. So an Intune administrator can use uninstall to uninstall or roll back the latest feature update or quality updates for an active or paused update ring. After uninstalling one type, we can then uninstall the other type also. Intune does not support or manage the ability of user to uninstall an update. Windows device start removal of update as soon as they receive the change in the Intune policy. Update removal is not limited to maintenance schedule even when they are configured as part of update rings. If the update removal policy is required, the device restart without offering user an option to delay. When you initiate an update of feature or quality update on an update ring, Intune also pause update of the same type on that update ring. Now before moving to the demo part, let's see some of the common location which will helpful during Windows Update troubleshooting. So the very first location on client PC is the MDM diagnostic logs, which is very helpful to know whether the policies reach to the device and to know that we have to go to the access work or school. Then we have to click on information button and then we'll get whatever policies apply to the device. Here we can see that the Windows Update policies apply to the device, and we can also generate a advanced diagnostic report, and then we'll see what all policies is applied to the device and what is the default configuration as well as what is the current configuration of the registry settings. The second location is the Windows Update UI. In this location, we can see that the Windows Update policy configured properly or not, as well as which tool is configuring the Windows Update policies like MDM or a group policy. To check this, we have to open the Windows Update console and then we can see what is the last check date of the update, as well as when we are going to click this view configuration settings, policy settings, and then we can see what all policies applied on the devices and what are the source. Like in this, some of the policies applied via group policy and some of the policies applied via mobile device management. Now the third location is the registry location. So we know that the update rings is configuring the registry in the client PC whenever we are deploying the update ring policies. So by accessing the registry location, we can see what are the registry settings and to see whether the registry settings is properly configured. And to check the registry location, we have to go to the computer HKLM software, Microsoft, then policy manager, then current and devices, and then update. So within the update section, we'll see whatever policies applied on the device via MDM related to updates. Now the fourth location is the Windows Update log. which is very helpful to find the root cause of Windows update failures. And to access the log, we have to run a PowerShell command called get Windows update log. This will generate a log on the desktop. Now the fifth location is the event viewer log. This is very helpful to track the MDM policy configurations as well as the downloading and installation of update. By checking the event viewer log, we can track the end-to-end process of Windows update, starting from policy configuration, then download, installation, and rebooting of the devices. Now let's see how to configure the telemetry data. So to configure the telemetry data, we have to create a device restriction policy in admin center portal. But before that, I'll show you what is the current configuration in this device. So this is my test PC where I'm going to perform the test. So I'm going to open all settings, and under all settings, we have a privacy option, and then we have a diagnostic and feedback option. Here we can see that the diagnostic data is now currently configured as an optional diagnostic data. I'm going to configure this the required diagnostic data, which is the minimum requirement when we are creating a update ring policy. So to configure this, I'm going to log into the Microsoft Admin Center portal, and then under devices, we have to go to the configuration profile. Then we have to create a configuration profile, and I am going to select the platform Windows 10 and later, and the profile type is template, and then under template we have a device restriction template. I have to go to create. I'm going to give the name diagnostic data and click next. Under configuration, we have to go to reporting and telemetry, and under users share users data, we have to configure it to required, and then we have to click next and assign it to all devices, and if you want you can assign it to some group also. For now I am going to assign it to all devices. I'm going to create next, and then policy is now created and assigned. Now I am going to enroll this device in Intune. For that, I am going to access school and work, and then going to click on connect, and then I'm going to join this device in Azure AD, and then username and password. Going to join this device. Now device is connected to my tenant, and now device is enrolled in Intune. Now we can see that the policy is assigned to the device, and we'll check that whether the telemetry data is set to required or not. For that, again I'm going to click on home button, and then privacy setting, and under diagnostics and feedback, now we can see that the telemetry data is set to required for device, and the same thing we can validate in the registry also. So for opening a registry, we have to go to HKLM software policy, and then Microsoft, and then Windows we have data collection policy, and we can see that allow telemetry data is set to 1, and now my machine is configured to send their telemetry data. Now we have to create a update ring policies. For that, we need to go to the devices, and under devices we need to go to the update ring for Windows 10 and later, and we can start creating the policy. So I am going to give a name. So I have given a name ring 1, which is my internal testing update ring policy, and I'm going to create it. Now we have to configure the update setting and users experience setting. The very first setting is the Microsoft product update. So if you want to install the Microsoft product update along with quality update, we can allow it, else we can block it. So I'm not going to block it. Second option is the Windows driver update. Again, if we want to install the Windows driver along with the quality update, we can allow it, else block it. For now I am going to block this. Now the next option is the quality update deferral period and the feature update deferral period. So because this is my internal update ring policy, I want to test it immediately. That's why I'm leaving. I'm not going to configure the number of days. I'm leaving it 00 in both quality updates as well as feature updates, meaning that whenever there is a new update available from Microsoft, machine is going to scan and download the update and install it as soon as possible. Next option is the upgrade Windows 10 device to latest Windows 11 release. So I don't want to enable it, so I'm leaving it as it is. Then we have an option to configure the feature update uninstallation period. By default it is set to 10, but if you want you can change it. For now I'm going to change it to 15. Then we have an option enable pre-release build. By default when we are creating update ring, it's going to target the general availability channel update, but if you want to employ some other channel word updates, then you can select it by enabling it, and then you can select whether you want to enable a Windows update release, a beta channel, or development channel. For now I'm not going to configure it. Under user experience setting, the very first option is the automatic update behavior. So there are many options. We can select notify download or auto install at maintenance window, auto install and restart at maintenance window, auto install or restart at a scheduled time, auto install and reboot without end user control, or reset the default. So I'm going to select auto install at maintenance window, meaning that machine is going to install the updates at the active hours. So here we can set the production hour. By default it's set to 8 AM to 5 PM, but if you want you can change it. For now I'm going to change it to 9 AM to 6 PM, and then can allow or skip the restart check. These are the by default setting. I'm not going to modify restart check option. And then we have a option to allow users to pause their update if they want. I'm going to disable this, and then option to check for Windows update. Yeah, I want my user can also initiate a check for update. And then we have a change notification update level. So you can set it not configured or use a default Windows update notification, or you can turn off all notification excluding restart, or turn off all notification including restart. So I'm going to use default Windows update notification. And then if you want to configure the deadline time, you can configure it. For now I'm going to configure the deadline time 4 days for feature upgrade and the same 4 days for quality update, and the grace period I'm going to provide 2 days, and then click next. Now you have the option to select all groups, all users, all devices for targeting purpose. For now I am going to select to all devices because this is my test environment. And if you want to exclude some of the group, you can add here also, so that any machine which is a part of this group is not going to receive this update ring policy. And once everything's created, we can validate the settings one more time. Here we can see that servicing channel is general availability channel, and then just create it. Now the update ring policy is created. Now the update ring policy is assigned to the device, and we can see that under policy is showing update policy is assigned. We can verify the same thing in the registry also, that we already discussed in the previous slides. For that we have to go to the HKLM software, and then Microsoft policy manager, and then there are two things, current and default. So I'm going to click on current, and then devices, and whatever policy you are deploying from Intune, you can see everything here. So we can see that whatever we set in our update ring policy is showing here, like we allow auto update is showing yes, allow MU update service yes, configure deadline for feature upgrade we set it for 4 days, is showing 4 days, and then quality update we set it for 2 days, so it's showing 2 days here. Grace period also we set it for 2 days, it's showing 2 days. And I mean, whatever we are configuring in our update ring configuration, we are able to see the same thing here. Now before initiating a check for update to speed up the process of Windows Update scanning, let's first see some of the important services responsible for Windows Update. So to see those services, we have to open the services.msc. To open a service.msc, I'm going to click on run and then type service.msc and then OK. The very first service is the Windows Update service. We need to ensure that the Windows Update service should be in a running state, and in description also we can see that it's saying that enable the detection, download and installation of update for Windows and other program. If service is disabled, user of the computer will not be able to use Windows Update or its automatic feature, and program will not able to use the Windows Update agent. So we need to ensure that this service should be in running mode. And the second service is update orchestrator. So this is a service. Again, we need to ensure that this service should also be in running mode. And as per the description, it's saying that manage Windows Update. If stop, your device will not be able to download and install the latest updates. So these are the two services which we need to ensure that should be in running state. Now I am going to initiate a check for update to speed up the scanning process. While this is checking for update, we can check view configuration update policy also to understand what all policy is managed by MDM. We can see that notify to download update is managed by mobile device management, get update from other Microsoft product is also managed by MDM. Whatever policy is managed by MDM, we can see here everything. Pause update by user, mobile device management, disable option for update notification, quality update, default period, everything is managed by MDM solution. We can also see that we configure the pause update so the user cannot pause the update. This option is grayed out. Now we can see that machine is started downloading and installing the required update on this device. We can see that some of the updates are in installing stage, some of them are in downloading stage, and some of them are in pending install state. Now we can see that after rebooting the device, system is applying the install update on the device. Now my machine is rebooted. Let's see if the all required update is installed on the machine and the machine is showing compliance or not. We can see that then your machine is up to date and the last check time is also today is 5:31 p.m. And we can also check what all update is installed on that machine under view update history tab, and then we can see that under quality update we have all the update installed, and we have a definition update installed related to Microsoft Defender antivirus, and then we have some other updates. We can also see the install update under control panel in under program and features under view install update, and we can see what all update install on those devices. I hope this is an informative video for you. Thank you very much for watching this video.